Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It's Tuesday, May 21st, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. We is me, Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst and certified financial planner. And he is Mark Talercio, executive producer of everything Jill on Money in my whole world. He is my executive producer of my life and also a certified financial planner. Mark, maybe you should put that on your resume. Executive producer of Jill Schlesinger's life.
Not Jill on Money, Jill Schlesinger's life.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It goes beyond Jill on Money.
But why do I need a resume? I mean, that ship has sailed.
Well, you never know. I was thinking about this because, of course, with all the shenanigans, with all the worries about media, I was like, well, this will be my last contract. I hope Mark finds another job in 3 years. That'll be good for him. Awesome. Good for you. Or maybe you'll be a stay-at-home dad.
Well, you never know. If CBS went poof, you still have all the other stuff you do. Most of the stuff that we do is not CBS related, I would say.
I know, but the money from CBS lets me pay you.
But I could take a cut and go down to part-time.
Oh, okay, fine. I like that. But you'll still have, but as you said, you'll have a lot of work to do. We got to find something else. We'll figure it out because, I'm not spending tons of time worrying about this at all. So I'm just joking with you because everybody in our industry is freaking out right now for one reason or another. And I'm not. And you know what? I have the luxury of not really being full time at any one thing. This is like diversification of my revenue streams is excellent. That I can absolutely guarantee. So, Mark, what's happening as we're heading into the Memorial Day weekend? Are you planning any outdoor activities with your new outdoor space?
The plan is to keep I'm not going to curse, to keep the birds out of my garden because
wait a second. What, when you said you texted that to me, but which birds are these? Pigeons that are wreaking havoc?
No, they're not pigeons. Blue jays.
Okay. Community. Mark has just planted all this stuff and the blue jays, what are they doing? They're picking at what? The seed? What are they picking?
The plants.
The plants themselves?
Yeah, it's mainly the tomato plants. I have a lot of stuff up there. I have probably like 10, 12 tomato plants. I have zucchini.
Oh.
I have peppers, basil, some broccoli, eggplant. But they mainly seem to be liking the tomato plants. And they come in and they do a number, man. So I had to go out and I got bird net in. I covered everything in bird net, and it's been an ongoing project. All
right. Well, listen, remember I told you about my guy, Jim. He reminded me, we were just talking about, I'm like, did you plant yet? Because after you were planting. And then he said, we filled the pots with soil, and you're going to need another small pot for parsley, Italian parsley, flat leaf. He says, remember, last year when I planted it in the soil, because I have some soil adjacent to the house, a rabbit ate through it all. Should I just add it to the tomato pot? I said, add it to the tomato pot. Now, the problem that I have is rabbits, number one. And number two, I think there are these other critters that kind of make a mess of the lawn and they kind of burrow down deep. So I don't have a big lawn, and I'm now thinking about just going to put an AstroTurf bocce court in the side of the house. What do you think of that?
Well, what is burrow? And you talking about groundhogs?
They're not burrow. They're not groundhogs. What are they called? There's something like a ground, but smaller. But anyway, you'll eventually see if you ever come out, since you canceled on me last year for swimming lessons. Do you remember that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that was on you. We'll make a new date. All right. So tomato plants, netting, anything else that you need to reach out for?
I will say we must have talked about it on one of the recent episodes. A lot of people weighed in and they said that Jill should definitely buy Mark a Weber.
See that? Exactly right. That is what I'm going to do. But I have to, a Weber is Mark, you don't understand. I've been through many grills in my life. The Weber is fantastic. So that's going to be it. I just got to, you find the model and it's on me. Jackie and I are buying that as your housewarming.
Okay. Can you help me carry it up the stairs?
No, you have a guy to do that. There's
Theo?
a guy
Theo?
there's a guy or a gal, a beefy guy or gal or non-gender specific human being with muscles will help you do this.
Okay.
We'll get it delivered.
Okay.
No? How many stairs?
The white glove delivery?
Totally.
There's one main staircase and then there's like two other shorter flights.
Oh my God. All right. I'm getting that. Okay. Well, thank you, community. I'm definitely getting Mark a new grill. All right. Hey, let's get to the show. This has been so much fun, but thank you for listening. Goodbye. No, we are bringing in recidivist caller, communicator, and love of the program, Yaz. But today, Mark, we've got Yaz and hubby Chris from New Jersey. Hello, you two. What do you got? You guys got to have a grill. You're big suburbanites, right?
Oh yeah, we have a grill and
smoker too.
Oh, a smoker. Mark, you would like a smoker.
I see some neighbors here out back have a smoker.
Oh yeah. What are you smoking there? What do you go?
Yeah, what a question. Ribs, pork butt, brisket. It's fantastic. So worth it.
Mark, this could be a two-tiered gift. We'll start with the grill. All right, what brings you guys to us? Yaz, we love you. How did you get your husband on?
beat him up. No, he was interested. We have questions. And so I had a question and then he has a question. So I thought, well, why don't we ask both questions and see if they'll answer them?
That sounds good. Okay. So let's just do a quick rundown. Remind everybody who you are. Yaz and Chris, how old are you guys?
So I'm 41.
I'm 38.
Okay. And are you guys both working full time?
Yep. We both work full time.
How much money do you guys make?
So between the two of us, our base salaries are $465, and we usually make a annual bonus, maybe of 50 to 60 combined.
Great. You guys have kids, right?
We do. We have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Okay. Previously, when you've come on, we've talked about sort of generalized stuff. Mm-hmm. What brings you to us today? So
I read Ed Slott's book after you had interviewed him, and I am scared now because a lot of our retirement accounts are, now we're all Roth. That was your advice when we came on before. And so now we're all Roth, but, about 2/3 of our money is in pre-tax. And when I read his book, I just got a little nervous that we're going to have this retirement tax bomb. So one idea I had was, we don't have any debt other than our mortgage now. And should we start to do small Roth conversions every year to try to reduce that tax hit in the future? So that's the first question.
Okay. So question one, nervous about retirement tax bomb. So for everyone listening, this is when you have a bunch of money in pre-tax retirement savings that accumulate over time. And then later in life, when you're forced to take money out, when for Yaz and Chris, it would be when they turn 75, the money that is pushed out to them forcefully through required minimum distributions or minimum required distributions, however you like to say it, that those will then push them into a high tax bracket. And considering they make a bunch of money now, they're in the 35% bracket. The top bracket is 35%, but most of the money's being taxed, sort of 12, 22, 24, 32, but that tax rate could be higher in the future, setting off a bomb, which, I love Ed, but it's a little bit of hyperbole. Okay. So that's question one. Question two from Mr. Chris. What's the second question?
Yeah, sure. So my father just recently retired, kind of on a whim a little bit. And, it's their financial, kind of picture is not very good, to be honest. And so would love to get your advice on, what or kind of how we should, really manage that and plan for the future, and not, obviously put in jeopardy, my family and my kids' future as well. So how to actually financially, just like prepare.
Take care of them. Yeah, that makes that you're a good boy. Isn't that nice? Do you have any other siblings?
I'm the only child. It's all on
brother.
Me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay. How old is are your parents?
So my dad is 64 and my mother is 61.
Okay. And does mom work or is she retired as well?
So mom is, she's been in disability for quite some time. And unfortunately, it's, she's kind of going through, kind of a mental health crisis as well. So it's she's not really in the best shape to provide anything financially either. So that adds to it as well.
I'm so sorry. Well, I mean, look, I think that this reminds me of the conversation we had with Teresa Ghilarducci, which is, sometimes people retire because of an illness with a spouse, that there's health issues for the person or the person's spouse. And this is when, we're going to talk about their financial wherewithal, but you can understand how your dad might feel like, I got to take care of my wife. Like, life is short. So it's tough. So your parents, your mom's Social Security disability income, do you know how much that is?
So I don't know what her disability is, unfortunately. And, for Social Security, she hasn't applied for it. We've tried to get her to apply. She's both my parents were in the military, so they can get VA benefits.
Oh, good.
But, I think with my dad is on top of it. My mother kind of is not. Again, it just contributes to the mental health. We're trying to get her to do these things, and she's just refusing to do it. So,
so he's going to have to pick up the pace there. So, what do they have pensions? How do they have? What's the income right now?
Yeah, great question. So right now he only has income that's going to be Social Security, and that doesn't start till June. He's also applied for VA disability. He's had some, issues with his leg, nothing too crazy, but, he was told that he can get some disability through the VA, but he doesn't know when that will start.
And I presume that they have a house. Like, where do they live right now?
So they live in Burlington, North Carolina, and they have a pretty big house there.
How much do you think that's worth?
So I looked at the Zillow estimate is $510,000.
Do they have a mortgage on it?
They do. So my dad has a first and second mortgage on it, all totaling $300,000.
Do they want to stay there?
I would say I've convinced my dad that he doesn't need to, right? Like, given kind of where everything is right now, I don't think he needs to. And I've kind of convinced him. So I'm trying to get him out of there. But, I think they're open to definitely selling the house. Okay.
And do they have any other savings or anything like that, or not really?
Not really, unfortunately.
Okay. Now let's go back to you guys. Yaz, are you scared that I'm going to tell you that your in-laws have to move in with you?
If it's not today, it's sometime in the future.
Are you resigned to that fact?
Yep.
Okay. Now remind us about your house, Yaz. How much is your house worth?
So, about $740K.
Is it a good house for you guys? Are you comfortable in it?
We're comfortable now. I think if we did have any, if his parents did have to move in, we might need to get a new house at some point. Or
what's the mortgage that's outstanding on this house?
About $394.
And isn't it a cheap mortgage rate?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
2.875.
Yeah, we're not getting rid of that. You're not moving anywhere.
No.
Settle in there, baby. Let's get back to, bouncing between these two questions because they're actually intertwined. 2/3 of the money is pre-tax retirement. How much is that?
So we have a total of about $850K in retirement accounts between the two of us.
Okay. And that's all pre-tax, the $850?
No, so some of that a third of that would be Roth money. And 2/3 is pre-tax.
But now all the new money going in is in Roth, right?
Right. So we max out $23K each of us per year, and we put it all in Roth, but our employer is matching in the pre-tax account.
All right. What about a brokerage account? What do you got in that?
So we have $240K in the brokerage account. I've just been dumping all of our extra cash flow in there. So we put in about $3,500 a month.
Look at you.
That was your advice too. So I took your advice, and we also, if I get a bonus or he gets a bonus, we try to put 50% of that in the brokerage account.
Wow, that's awesome. What about the is there a Rutgers fund for the kids?
Yep, we have two 529s, and their contributions right now we do $1,400, so $700 in each of their accounts.
How much is in there total right now?
So my daughter, she's 7, she has $50K, and my son, he's 3, he's got $32K.
Okay, great. I think I wouldn't worry so much about the pre-tax right this second, but I want to talk about the parents and the situation there. If I had to have you guys come up with a game plan to stay in this house but accommodate your parents, could you do that? In other words, is there something could you build an in-law apartment? Can we shove him in the basement for 20 years? Like, what can we do with him?
Possibly my dad. I'm not sure about my mother. Just be perfectly honest.
Okay.
It's it would be tough. I think she needs to go somewhere where.
Well, she might need a facility, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. But if we sold your parents' house, okay, what could happen is you could bring them up here, right? You could use the equity from the house to pay for a renovation or to make it accommodate your dad. And then we'd have to apply to get your mom into a facility. And she would actually qualify for Medicaid. There's no assets and there's, $200,000 in equity in this house. But, that equity, they don't make you like fork over all the money. It seems to me you're going to have to bring them up eventually. If your father's going to live with you, that's fine. We use the equity from the house to pay to get her to number one, upgrade your house, but also pay to get her into a facility and get that process going. Once that's settled, or once you have a game plan with that, I do like the idea of converting some of the money. Now, Mark, how much money should they convert if we're thinking about this? Like, what should they do?
I still don't know that I would until all this other stuff is sorted out, because I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like they're going to need this cash. They might need some of this cash,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think so too.
Are they going to be, are they going to add on to their existing house? Are they going to buy a new house? I wouldn't be soaking up any of that liquidity until this stuff is settled.
And yes, one nice thing is because you have so much time between now and the age 75, there are many things that we could think about doing. They really are. And you don't have to make yourself so crazy. And I know that's what makes you, which is you're like me. I mean, why not make myself crazy? What is the alternative? Should I just be calm? Yeah. That's no fun. But you're doing exactly what you should be doing. You're saving a boatload of money, like $100,000 a year. You live in a high cost area. By the way, everyone's listening and I'm like, oh, they only make $500,000 a year, but you live in a high cost area. So I get that. You probably live around people who make millions and millions of dollars. And I understand that it's like, oh, I really want to be able to convert, but you're doing what you should be doing. The money will grow in the traditional, but I think in the next 5 years or so, we're going to know a lot more information. And I wouldn't go crazy. I really wouldn't. If we had to, I know that we could, essentially by the time the period before you turn 75, like from 60 to 75, we could start dribbling out some of the money and do it that way. But I think we'll know more information in the next bunch of years. I have one question though for you, Chris. Do your parents have a will?
I am not sure. Great question.
I think we should check in on that. You know, and I think if your dad is your dad forthcoming with these details, or do you feel like he's a little protective of your mom and their situation?
Yeah, the latter for sure. I have to pull it out of him. Yeah.
Can we get them to talk to somebody? Like, who did your will? Who did your estate planning?
So we used just a local attorney because I have the benefit through my job. So we used someone locally. I did get them a lawyer to do their will, and I sent it to them, but I don't know if they ever actually pulled the trigger.
My parents are stubborn. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, I get that. Mark, any other questions, concerns, or things we should kind of put out there before we send them on their way?
No, again, I wouldn't drive yourself nuts about the pre-tax money. I mean, it's a good problem to have. You'll have, opportunities down the road in the future when all this stuff is settled to deal with it. But, don't drive yourself nuts converting, doing small conversions, because it's going to grow more than the amount that you convert. So it's not really worth it right now.
I agree with that. I think take a deep breath and let this situation evolve. And if things are going on with your parents, Chris, that need, you need some help or you want to get back in touch with us, don't hesitate. Because, you guys have like a free pass to get in here, So
I have just one question. Is there a scenario where they live independently of us?
Yes. I mean, well, your mom for sure, because she's going to need to be, it sounds to me like your mom needs to be in a facility.
Yeah.
But your dad's young. So I guess there is a way to think about this. The way I would consider that would be if we get her up here and she lives in a facility, could your dad rent an apartment nearby? And, if between his Social Security income and if he does get some disability, could he float himself on that? Perhaps, but you're going to end up helping him as well, I think. In that scenario, I think you're going to help. You're going to help in either way. But I think that if he tries to rent himself, I think it puts actually weirdly more pressure on you guys.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's kind of been my thought. The issue is, I think, him staying in New Jersey versus staying in North Carolina are two totally different worlds, right?
If he stays in North Carolina, okay, if he says, I'm going to sell the house, I'm going to get her in a facility, and I'm going to rent, he's going to run out of money fast.
Possibly. North Carolina can find a cheaper place, but still.
True. That's true. That is true. Well, I mean, explore both.
Yeah.
But, he's at some point he's going to run out of money unless we are underestimating his Social Security income and his ability to live on that.
Right. No, that's a good point.
So I think you got to kind of go on a dual track, explore locally in North Carolina what would be possible. And then, it sounds like you got to get your mom into a facility no matter what. Is that correct?
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah. So, I mean, he'll probably be able to take care of that. I have no doubt that he'll be able to take care of that. He sounds like very competent, but we got to get on top of it for sure. All right. Call back with a nicer question next time, will you?
Are we going to be working forever?
No, you're not. Mark, can you give her calm her down?
How long do you want to work, Yaz?
I'd like to work for another 15 years.
That doesn't even get you to 60.
Nope.
But then
you got to work till 60.
I got to work till 60.
Yeah.
I know that. I can tell you that right off the bat. I'm telling you, 60 should be that's the early date. If things go great, then we're not worried. Then great, it goes great. But get 60 in your head.
You'll have, you'll have at least $5 million.
We got to get through. First of all, what are you talking? 15 years. We got to get your 3-year-old through college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's where we have to get
college,
you.
Into college, not through college.
I think through.
Well, that's why we have the 529s.
I know. We'll see. We'll see about all this.
But your in-laws, your in-laws,
they're going to soak up some of this money.
They're very young.
Yeah, I know.
And you guys are probably, at some point, you're going to be supporting them, I would think.
Oh, boy, yes. Didn't you not get the memo that you should marry someone who comes from money? Did you not get that memo?
I'm married for love.
Oh, God. Well, next time you should consider doing something else.
Call, Jill. Just say.
I know. You're here still. Well, listen, Chris, you could have done the same thing. You could have done the same thing. I think you guys are going to be great. And look, it could be sooner than 60. There are too many unknowns. Mm-hmm. So when there are so many unknowns, I think it's best to plan for the most likely scenario and hope for the best. But let's plan for 60. And if we can get you to 60, I think we'll be very happy and you can do something else. And by the way, if things go better and it's, 8 years from now and you're like, we're kicking butt. And by the way, my dad's great. And, things have worked out beautifully. Then we may be able to revisit that, but we don't know that yet. We just don't. Okay. I think that makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
All right. If you, like Yaz and Chris, have multi-generational issues that you would like to discuss with us, then get in touch. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write us a note. And don't forget to check the box if you'd like to join us on the air. I think this is so helpful when we have both of you on the air at the same time. It's great. While you're on the website, check out all the great content that lives there. There are 2 podcasts, this one and Jill on Money. There's the blog, there's a radio show, there's videos, there's resources, and there's the free weekly newsletter. So awesome. Comes out every single Friday. All right. Mark Tolares here was the co-host and executive producer and king of all things web at JillOnMoney.com. We're distributed by Paramount Global. We drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And of course, do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you on Thursday.